Hi, everyone. I'm Dave.
And I'm Robert.
Welcome to our Chipola fifth quarter podcast. We're so excited to be here in the main campus of Chipola College in Marianna, Florida. Such great resources. We have this beautiful area where we can film. We can get out some good information, look at some best practices from our classrooms, some business concepts, some leadership concepts, and apply those to the field of the gridiron, right, the game of football. So it's exciting just looking at this busy spring semester. We've been working with students in our bachelor's programs, our associate programs, certificates, and it's exciting sharing in that journey with you, Robert. So many ways to serve students at Chipola College. You can major in business, management, accounting, engineering, computers, many options. And so we're excited to work with you and share with you anytime. And it's neat to kind of share that energy here in this podcast. Robert was championing this from the early days, and we've had a lot of momentum. So it's great to be back in the saddle with you, Robert.
Yeah, man. Happy New Year. It's really great to be back. What do we have? About 2 or 3 weeks off, so we've got a lot to catch up on. Won't be able to fit it all in this episode, so let's go ahead and jump into it.
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's go. So congratulations to Alabama. Nick Saban winning his 7th title, beating Ohio State. I have to say, I don't think Ohio State was the right team, and of course this is just my opinion. I don't think Ohio State was the right fit. You know, a 7-win team, 7-game team, getting a bid in the national championship. I think it sends a message to your other teams that played, 10, 11, 12 games that, hey, sorry, better luck next year. I just don't think it's right, and it has a little bit to do with me having some bias against Ohio State. The Big Ten Conference. Other than the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, I don't know of any other rivalries or teams that are produced out of that conference that really make a splash in the league,
Yeah, I don't have the list in front of me, but I think there might have been some mid-majors, even some of the Big Five conferences, that there might have been a team that had one loss or some of the mid-majors that were undefeated and didn't even get a nod. So there has to be a way to expand maybe to 6 games for the playoff system to kind of weed out a team, maybe like Ohio State, that could be beaten by some other teams that are more ready and it's their time.
Well, that's possible. I know Ohio State's coach, after they beat Clemson, which, man, that was a shocker. I couldn't believe that. I thought Dabo Swinney would have had them guys ready to play. But that just goes to show you, as I've said before, anybody can get beat on any given day, and clearly Ohio State was prepared for Clemson. And I think it may have overboosted their confidence because Ohio State's head coach was quoted after the game as saying, look, we've listened to the critics, say again that we don't belong here in the playoff system, and kind of overstepped his boundaries, in my opinion, a little unprofessional. But, that's the game. You get hyped and adrenaline gets to pumping, and he made some comments along the lines of, those Hicks from Alabama are going to learn that we belong here in the national championship. And I remember seeing that statement and thinking, I don't think that's how you talk to a 6-time national championship football team.
So some good takeaways there. So Dabo, wow, what a great example of leadership. So most certainly, it didn't seem like they were ready. They clearly lost that game, but the humility and just the respect how he handled that, he's like, yeah, we weren't the better team today. What a great example. He's probably one of the best, if not the best coach out there right now. And he showed, having some grace with defeat. And he's just been winning year after year. So that was a good example. I had a great takeaway from that, and a good example for others. And then Ohio State maybe being a little confident. That is, boy, if you're going to be confident like that, you need to be ready. And they weren't ready. They did hang with them for a few minutes, and it was going back and forth. But everybody knew that was not going to last. And it could have been a 70-14 or whatever, but it wasn't. I mean, it was, 50-something?
Yeah, I want to say it was like 56 or something like that. Speaking of, how about Oklahoma hanging 57 points on the Gators in a bowl game?
Well, we do support our Florida teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But, man, I'm thinking, you go from the SEC championship in Atlanta to what happened to
there could have been a hangover from that. I mean, they were
possibly, but I mean, this goes back to what I said in some of our episodes. All these kind of concepts and stuff tie in. You've got to be able to put those kind of games behind you,
right?
And you've got to be able to move forward, because if you hang on to that kind of stuff, then you're not going to be prepared for the next game, and you're not going to know what the outcome of the next game could be. I mean, I've seen teams, they'll be undefeated, they'll be 6 games into the season, man, we're on a streak, and they get this arrogance and this attitude of, man, we got it in the bag. They go out there and they get it handed to them, and it's like the rest of their season, they're lucky to finish 500 because they're so hung up on that one game. You've got to put that kind of stuff behind you, and you've got to press forward. That's what life's all about. It's not just football. It's with anything in life,
It is, and it had one of the top 4, top 5 leaders, the quarterback of Florida, contender for the Heisman. And I think after that game, it was clear who was going to win the Heisman and who wasn't going to win the Heisman. So it showed that immediately. And even the best leaders break under pressure. And I mean, it was breaking that evening. It wasn't even clear. I mean, it wasn't even. It was very clear, I should say. There was no doubt.
Oh, no doubt. And to start off 2021, the team rankings according to 247sports.com have come in. Let's take a look at them real quick. At number 1, obviously Alabama. Number 2, Ohio State. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, LSU. Number 5, Clemson. Then you've got Oregon, Texas A&M, USC, Notre Dame, and then at number 10, Oklahoma in the top 10 in recruiting this year. And I was looking.
I think you skipped over FSU. Where were they?
They didn't make the
What?
list. Yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I thought weren't they like 1.5 on there? No.
Oh, you got jokes in the new year.
No,
Okay.
we want that.
Well, I mean, I'd like to see
That's our
them.
team locally.
Yeah,
Right? It's a Florida
locally.
team. Yeah.
I'd like to see him on the list, but the truth is, man, Mike Norvell, he's got his work cut out for him in Tallahassee. The last game of the season we were scheduled to play, I don't even remember who the team was because I was so frustrated with the season. Ended up canceling that game because of COVID.
So I think I was speaking to a couple of boosters recently at FSU, and they're going to give him a couple years. One reason is because the contract's so expensive. I mean, at Auburn, it cost them $21 million to buy out Gus, their quarterback, and so to have to do that same thing again when you're not making the money because it's not packed, the advertising, ticket sales.
Yeah.
This is a unique time, so he has to survive. One, just out of respect, and two, you can't afford to be paying off these coaches and bringing another one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a hefty price tag that comes with coaching at any level, but especially in college football, man. I mean, they give you the length of a contract if you're lucky, and a lot of that has to do with what type of person you are off the field as well, and what you bring to the table. So best of luck to Mike Norvell in the upcoming season because he's going to have his work cut out for him. But like I said, in that top 10 list, you got Oregon and Notre Dame. Neither one of them signed a 5-star recruit. I mean, that's kind of surprising.
So Oregon, that's a little surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, they have Nike as a big sponsor out there, and
yeah,
you think they'd pull that off, but very competitive college football these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's segue over to the pros, shall we?
All right.
All right. So for the
What
whole
kind of hat you wearing there? All right.
you know,
yes.
I'm gonna rep them.
Yeah, does it say Brady on there? What's that?
no,
TB? Yeah, it could be.
I mean, Tampa Tom. It
Yeah.
might as well say that,
Right,
right? I'll be honest with you. I kind of had a feeling that with Tom Brady at the helm of this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, that they were going to be something special this season, and they were going to eventually make their way to the NFC. And I said that. I said I wouldn't be surprised.
You called it early.
Yeah, I mean, I said it. I would not be surprised if they made it to the NFC Championship. Lo and behold, they did. I mean, you got 3 road games, playoff games.
3 road games.
I mean, that's pretty tough.
And the Washington football team, if that's what they're called right now, I mean, that was no easy game.
Yeah.
And they won that in Washington.
Yep.
And then New Orleans.
Yep.
In the Superdome. Come on.
Yeah, to win the divisional is something special, but then you cap it off with a championship at Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers. Man, they call it Title Town for a reason.
Yes, that was a tough game. As a Packer fan, obviously we support our Florida teams. Happy for the Bucks, but yeah, that was tough. Aaron could be heading elsewhere. He wants to win, and they have a first-round draft pick on the bench waiting. So it's kind of deja vu all over again in Green Bay and the quarterback situation.
Yeah, speaking of quarterbacks, here's a list of some whose futures are in question for the upcoming season. It's been told that this is an unprecedented movement of QBs, like a shakeup in the whole league. I've got at number 1 on the list Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo, Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater, Mitchell Trubisky, Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Alex Smith, and of course, Big Ben Roethlisberger. A lot of these guys, Ben Roethlisberger is the last person left in the 2004 draft class. I don't know if you saw Phillip Rivers is retiring from the Colts.
Is he?
Yeah, after 17
he had a great
seasons.
run this year.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, almost made it to the next round of the playoffs,
Well,
right?
I'm gonna kind of date myself here. I'll be 30 years old this year, and I remember when a lot of these guys were first coming into the league. No kidding.
Yeah, so Rivers never won the Super Bowl, but he's a Hall of Famer. One of the best arms ever. Just he throws that ball. It is so pretty, and it lands right where it's supposed to. He has a great arm. But he just never could win the big game.
Well, you hate it for him. He spent 16 faithful seasons with the LA Chargers, and then, he trods back east to Indianapolis, figuring, maybe the Colts, we can make something happen.
And they made it happen. It was a great year.
Yeah, but to see him, getting ready to hang it up, it's kind of surreal. It makes me feel like, man, some of the players that I grew up watching are starting to hang it up. You got the new age players coming in.
Yeah, that keeps the game exciting.
Yeah, and again, to just kind of keep this conversation going, Matthew Stafford, I want to say he's had about 10 good seasons with the Detroit Lions. He's leaving. They're looking to trade him. I want to say he's interested in the Colts, but we'll see what happens there.
Another great arm. I mean, he's a winner.
Yep. Deshaun Watson, I don't know if you've heard with the Texans, he's requested a trade 3 weeks ago. They finally honored it today.
So I think he's probably the top. I mean, obviously, as a Packer fan, I think Aaron. But Aaron's getting closer to the retirement age. Deshaun, he could be the number one recruit, if you will, out there to actually move to get a deal for a current player. Just fits that mold of a running quarterback who can stay out of trouble. He does get hurt a little bit, not often.
Right.
So he definitely has a great arm. You know, he proved it with Clemson, right? He's been consistent his whole career, both in the college and the pros. So he probably will get the best choice, you know, of teams, I would think.
Oh, well, you would hope so.
Maybe Niners? I mean, where do you think he might go?
Man, that's going to be tough. I dare not say. We'll just see what plays out, because
Okay.
I've been wrong before. And that goes back to Tom Brady. I don't think any of us ever thought he would leave New England. I thought he would retire with the Patriots.
I don't know. It was looking tough for a couple of years. And
Well, maybe, but I mean, you think a man like Tom, he spends 19 years in New
Yeah.
England. He's had a 20-year career, including this year. I mean, you know, you're winning most of your Super Bowls with one team. Why would you want to quit?
that's
you
a
know?
great example for just leaders today, right? New England's all about winning, and I think Tom was that playoff season the year prior to him leaving. He didn't get it done, right? And it looked kind of weak. He didn't look like himself. Maybe he was out of sorts or sick or something or injured. He would play through it. So they had such a heightened focus on winning, and we could apply that to the business environment. Sometimes winning isn't everything.
Right.
And if they would have kept him, they probably would have had another run. They could have made the playoffs for sure.
Possibly.
Yeah, and not so much now. I mean, one of the worst teams
Yep.
without him, yeah.
Well, to wrap this program up, I want to talk about the Super Bowl, because this is for the whole bag of marbles.
Now, the Bucks, who are they? Are they playing somebody?
Yeah, they're playing the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, no problem.
Oh man, the defending Super Bowl champs. So let's get into the tail of the tape real quick. Let's start with the quarterbacks. You got Patrick Mahomes the second, in a 4-year career. He's a youngin. You know, that he's a youngin to me anyway. I mean, 25 years old, 4-year career. He's just getting started, just getting his feet wet in the league. Right now, he's at 14,152 total yards in his career over a 4-year span, with 114 touchdowns, 24 interceptions, with a passer rating of 108.7. Just this season alone that we're coming out of, he finished the season with over 4,700 pass yards. Pretty impressive for a quarterback.
And he even plays better when he's behind, when the second half starts. I mean, he never loses when he's behind.
Hold up. Now.
Yeah, that's exciting.
You're forgetting my man Tampa Tom.
Well, no, Bucks are going to win for sure.
Well, look here. We're going to get away from the stats. I'm going to say this. I don't want to come out of the gate and say that the Bucks are going to win, because there is a lot of talk going into this game. Yes, Tampa's going to have the home field advantage. Yes, they have set a precedence, and they've made history being the first team to play the Super Bowl in their home stadium, which I think is kind of weird. I don't think this will ever happen again, probably in the history
Chances.
of
I
the
mean,
NFL.
there's some math we could do on that real quick, but we'll get back to the next show and run the math on that.
Yeah, we'll
First time ever, for sure. Yeah.
First time ever. So you're talking about a guy like Tom Brady. He is no stranger to scrutiny. He's no stranger to the media saying he's washed up. He's no stranger to the media saying, oh, there's no way his team's going to pull it out. He's always found a way to pull it out. In the tail of this tape, here's what I would say. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a shootout. Here's where the matchup is. You've got Kansas City Chiefs and their dynamic passing offense versus a dynamic 4-man front with a Tampa Bay defense, pass rush.
I mean, what does Lombardi say? Defense wins championships. So
Oh,
at this
yeah.
point, I mean, defense is going to matter.
And something else to consider, the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game lost Eric Fisher, their key left tackle. It just so happens we got Vita Vea back at the defensive tackle position. You know where he lines up? On the left side.
I think he lines up right back there with the quarterback as he's sacking him, right?
Well, I mean, they gave Rodgers a run for his
They
money.
sure did.
Recording like 5 sacks. But we got Vita Vea back. Week 5 he had the injury against the Bears, the ankle injury. Put him out for a majority of the season. Comes back for the NFC Championship. He's getting a few reps on and off. He didn't play the whole game, but it showed when he was in the game. I mean, he was, Tampa running a 4-man front is amazing, because, even some of the greatest offensive linemen, they have to execute, assignment football.
Yeah, so think how powerful that is. So they can have 4, then they can run the 2 deep, they can switch up their corners and their safeties. Don't have to worry about that. So they can put pressure on the receivers, pressures on the backs coming out to catch a pass. Just with 4 defensive linemen, that's unheard of in the pro game today.
Right.
And they pull that off every week.
Well, here's something to consider. If a defense knows that a quarterback can't throw it deep, they're going to play aggressive underneath, and they're going to have safety help over the top. This is not the case in a team like Kansas City. Mahomes can throw it deep. Here's the issue. The 4-man front, they're going to have to contain Mahomes. The ends are going to have to spill out. They're going to have to turn him back in.
Keep your lanes.
Yeah, you're going to have to keep your lanes. And then the two defensive tackles on the inside, which we've got a stout front, Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea, Jason Pierre, Paul, and a host of other guys, pretty good inside linebacker core. These guys are going to have to play assignment defense. You're going to have to contain Mahomes because Mahomes is notorious for, if he's got nobody downfield, which 9 times out of 10 he does, but if he doesn't, he's going to make something happen with his legs. So you're going to have to contain Mahomes. Ends are going to have to spill out. Defensive tackles on the inside are going to have to play assignment football. There is no getting around this. Mahomes will wreck a 4-man front if they don't play assignment football. Secondary-wise, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, these guys. Tyreek Hill racked up when we played them. They come to Tampa. He racked up 200 yards in the first half against us.
A fast little guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I think he's fastest in the league.
Yeah, they don't call him the cheetah for no reason.
Right.
I mean, the guy racks up 200 yards in the first half, and so here's what I'm thinking: if I'm defensive coordinator Todd Bowles at Tampa, I'm thinking we're either going to have to double up on Tyreek Hill or we're going to have to play back. I mean, you can't just stack the box because if you stack the box, bring your linebackers in and get everybody to contain Mahomes, well, he's going to think that's fine. I don't have to run. I'm just going to throw it all day, sit back in the pocket.
And they're tight end. I mean, he's a Pro Bowler. He can run just like a receiver.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, very much like Gronk on the other side. So It is going to be a true super game, a true Super Bowl. Yeah. I'm excited to watch it.
And again, for those of you that'll watch the episode, mark this down. Here's going to be the matchup. It's going to be Kansas City's passing offense. It's dynamic. I mean, they're racking up yards versus the stout defense of the Bucs. We've got a pretty stout front, 4-man front. We've got one of the best pass rushes in the league, top 5, no doubt. That's going to be the matchup. So that's where the matchup's going to be. Now, when Tom comes out on the field, Kansas City's defense is okay. It's very decent, but I won't say it matches up to the level of.
I mean, Tom's been there. He's done it, right? So
yeah,
can they hang with him?
Right. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
He's no stranger. He's chasing ring number 7. Mahomes is chasing ring number 2.
Wow, it's gonna be a great game. And so you called it early in September, I think, and so you're now calling it the D line against the explosive offense, Mahomes and Eric Hill and all the other bunch. So we'll see what plays out, and I think you're gonna be right. I think it's gonna come down to that chess match.
Yeah, I would like to say that Tampa Bay is going to win, but I think the keys to the game is Tom Brady. That last game, NFC Championship, he had 3 interceptions, but he also threw 3 touchdowns. You can't do that against a Kansas City team like this. You throw 3 interceptions and they get the ball back, they're sure to capitalize on every one of those turnovers.
Okay, well, we're a team, right, Robert?
Yeah.
So I'll say it. The Bucs are going to win. All right, man.
All right, man.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right.
See you.